Hello and good morning. Welcome to a new webinar of Lab9 Pro. Today on our agenda, Elevate, or should I say Jamf Elevate or just Elevate? We will hear it in a minute. Today I'm here with Jordi Thierry, our Apple Solutions Architect, but also our Jamf specialist here in-house for Lab9 Pro. My name is Zeno Verschaven, Marketing Manager, also for Lab9 Pro. Today we have the topic Elevate. How can we simplify your MDM enrollment for your Apple devices with Jamf? That is a topic we scheduled for today. In a minute, we're going to start with our webinar session. Just for your information, this webinar is recorded and will be available on the YouTube channel of Lab9 Pro by this noon or by this afternoon. And if you have any questions during this webinar, just put them in the chat. The chat is open for everyone, or you can send your question in our Q&A module of Zoom, where you can send anonymous questions to Jordi and myself. So Jordi, I would like to start with the webinar. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, wonderful. Here is the mic. Over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. So this session is entirely focused on Elevate, which is a new platform by Jamf. At the very end of the webinar, I'm going to show off something else that Jamf is releasing next week, which is AI governance. But so the focus is here on Elevate. And as Zeno said, I'd like to start with some intentional branding from Jamf, right? This slide is a fun one for me because a lot of customers of us keep saying Jamf. We're talking about Jamf today, not Chef, not Jamf, not Yamf. And we're not making it easier because today we're talking about Elevate. Not Jamf Elevate, right? Just Elevate. This is very intentional branding, and the marketing department of Jamf asked me to emphasize that. So before we dive into what Elevate really is, let us pre-emphasize what we're looking for here. So we have a lot of small, medium business customers that want to do the whole device management and device security stuff themselves, but they don't necessarily have the people in-house with all the expertise to do so. So if they are looking for an MDM solution, for example, they are looking for a couple of things. First and foremost, they're looking for simplicity, right? They don't want to follow 30 steps to deploy a Wi-Fi profile. They want an easy one-click stop to do that. They need guidance, right? Because like I said, they don't have the in-house people with all the expertise to do everything themselves, but they don't want to outsource it, right? Because like Lab9 can be an MSP, these people want to do it themselves, so they need some guidance on how they have to do stuff. And scalability is very important. You don't want to be a business that suddenly grows out of their solutions, right? They don't want to rip and replace their MDM system. For Jamf, historically, the solution to this problem was Jamf Now. Jamf Now is a very simple platform, right? It's very easy to use. It has built-in guidance, so it has those tutorials that explain to you how to do stuff, but unfortunately, it's not scalable. Once you go out of and what's in scope for Jamf now, you're stuck and you need to get another MDM, for example, Jamf Pro, migrate to it and redo your whole setup. That's not ideal. So what's Jamf introducing now is Elevate, right? And this is the definition of Elevate on the screen. Elevate streamlines Apple management and security with a simplified and scalable platform. And I want to emphasize it's not about dumbing things down, right? It's not a limited platform. It's about making the powerful capabilities of the Jamf platform available to teams that don't have the dedicated MDM administrators. I'm going to continue reading what's on the screen. It unifies device enrollment, compliance, and security in one central place, empowering small, medium business to start simple and scale confidently without sacrificing Jamf's enterprise-grade capabilities. So what do we mean with all this, right? What actually is Elevate? It's an experience. It's not a separate product. It's designed to make management and security simple and scalable. It's part of the Jamf for Mac and Jamf for mobile product offerings, and it's powered by the Jamf platforms we already know and love. Elevate includes an intentional, a very simplified setup, right? So new administrators go in and they get guided towards the whole setup to the point that they have a working MDM. And this is designed to simplify that instance setup, right? To eliminate the blank canvas anxiety that some small, medium business admins have with traditional MDMs. For configuration, Elevate uses blueprints with quick start templates pre-built, right? And you can customize them, of course, and with easily trackable deployment indicators. So instead of requiring admins to research individual settings and coordinate deployment sequences, they can just create a blueprint, push it out, and see if it landed on a device, yes or no. Elevate integrates with both Jamf Pro and Jamf Protect. At launch, it will include basic macOS security indicators with more security workflows coming in the near future. The risk detection panel is powered by Jamf Protect as well, covering known malware prevention. So this is one screen, one login, one place to see if your devices are managed, secure, and compliant. And there's an activity feed as well that shows you what is happening on those devices. And we'll demo the entire workflow in a bit. The most important part is that Elevate is scalable, right? With other solutions, growth means migration, re-enrolling devices, rebuilding configurations. With Elevate, it means clicking the app switcher and just diving into the traditional portals, right? You can dive right into Jamf Pro, Jamf Protect, and Jamf Security Cloud. Devices and configurations are identical across those portals. It's not a simplified version, right? Elevate is not a simplified version of Jamf. It's a guided interface to enterprise-grade infrastructure. So customers never outgrow their investment. They just unlock additional interfaces as they continue. A very important one and a frequent question that we have, who gets Elevate, right? And it's a decision that we as a reseller have to make. But by default, Jamf says that new customers with 25 to 250 seats, Elevate is the default experience. As a reseller, we can override that, but it's default at those sizes. For customers with 250 to 1,000 seats, it's available, but it's not turned on by default. And Jamf actually does not recommend using it if you have more than 1,000 seats, because then you are in an environment where you probably already need those more advanced workflows, and it's not a good thing to be in a simplified platform at that point. The sad thing is that existing customers currently do not get access to Elevate. This is something that's being looked into and evaluated for the future, but currently it's only for new tenants. So let's take a look at the demo. We're going to start with a setup assistant. So the setup assistant takes the admin through connecting Apple services, right? Configuring device enrollment, security settings, all in one sequential flow. So if I'll pull this up on the screen and I start the recording, we went out of the setup assistant, we'll go back in, and you see that we already started with setting up our Jamf ID, which is a necessity at this point, enabling self-service. And then next is the first step that's often forgotten, connecting APNS, so the push certificate from Apple. And as you can see, it's a guided experience, right? And I'm going to move my cursor over the screen and just fast forward a little bit, because we've all seen this by now. You can easily upload your APNS certificate into Jamf, and then we continue. You get two choices on how to enroll your device. So you can choose between automated enrollment and profile-driven enrollment, which is the same as in Jamf Pro. But here it is really just one click of a button. Yes, we want to enable automated enrollment. Okay, then we need to configure the connection to Apple Business, right? And again, you can download the public key and you continue to a very nice guided experience on how you upload those tokens. So it works. Once we're past that, the next question that's asked is also a very important one. Do you want to protect your devices? Of course we do. So what are we offered here? First and foremost, we can choose if our device needs to be compliant with a security policy. For example, SIS level 1 or SIS level 2. So let's choose SIS level 1, for example. And if we continue, we get a question if we want to protect our devices with the endpoint protection, which is a yes or no question. You don't need to dive into Jamf Protect to set it up. You just say, yes, I want to protect my devices, and it's turned on and configured automatically. There we go. And then we can enroll a device. We can do it via a profile-driven link. So we get that link that we can use with a password. That's optional, of course. You can also use automated device enrollment, which we just set up. And if we go out of the setup assistant, we see that we're missing one key feature, which is the app content. So we need a VPP token. And exactly like with the others, we can click the button, go into the interface, and we get again a guided interface to tell us how we can download the token, where we can find it, because the VPP token is often hidden in Apple Business or Apple School Manager. And then we get the token, we upload it, and we're good to go. Very easy, right? Next is the actual device management. Once the setup is complete, admins can choose an enrollment method. They can review device inventory. They can create device groups, all from in one clean interface. So if we pull up that recording, as you can see, we've now enrolled an iPhone into Elevate. We can click the devices tab. We see that device. If we click through it, we will get some basic information on the device, the serial number, the operating system. We see the security posture, for example, if the passcode is present or not, and we have the management details as well. We can see in what smart groups or static groups the device resides, what apps are installed on it, if they're up to date or not, and we can also send device commands. And for the people that already have experience with Jamf Pro, you can see that this is a very simplified interface, right? It kind of takes out some of the details that you don't need for basic device management. We can edit the device name, and we can go out and create some smart groups. We've all seen this before, right? So you can actually create a smart group. And again, it's a simpler interface explaining you what it does. So if you create a new group in Jamf Pro, you kind of need to know what each one does. Here, if we create a smart group, we're explained what it can do, how we can filter, what values we need to look for. It just makes it easier to use if you're new into the whole platform. Coming to app deployments for Mac, Elevate uses Jamf App Catalog, which we all know, and of course VPP apps. But those VPP apps are deployed in a new modern way. That's the only real difference from Jamf Pro in that regard. So if we look here, you'll notice that they are deployed via blueprints. So if we create a new blueprint, we can search for our VPP apps, for example, Zoom or Okta Verify. And they can all be configured into one blueprint, which is a little bit a different way of thinking, right? Once we do that, if we add the application to the blueprint, we get some more options, again, in a nicer, more modern interface. So you have those settings that you can configure for auto-updating and updates via Cellular, etc. Here you can see it. You can exclude it in the backup as well. These are all settings that are a little bit more hidden in Jamf Pro. So these are front and center here, so you can easily configure it. Next is compliance benchmarks. For the people that already have experience with Jamf Pro, you know that Jamf Compliance Benchmarks is relatively new, right? It's a microservice that you can open and then you can configure compliance with a certain security baseline, for example, SIS or others. This looks exactly the same as in Jamf Pro. And I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit, but in the past, there was a thing with Jamf that you needed to configure a Jamf account, and it was necessary to access things like blueprints and compliance. Here you can see why that is so important. Jamf can now just paste in those microservices like blueprints, like compliance benchmarks, and it's the same across platforms, right? So this compliance tab is exactly the same, and you can still go through the entire SIS configuration and edit it to your desire. If we then take a moment to appreciate the dashboard itself, it provides a unified view with both management and security metrics. The activity feed gives you visibility into what's happening on your devices, and the search feature supports advanced queries. The search bar at the top is also the place where you find AI Assistant, right? And Elevate includes AI Assistant, so you can ask it, how do I configure a passcode policy? And you will get the answer for configuration in Elevate rather than Jamf Pro. And I do think not enough people are using Jamf's AI assistant. You can actually ask it advanced stuff, right? So again, if you would be in Jamf Pro, for example, you can ask it to create a script and it will do it. And it's trained on Jamf data, so it is a little bit more accurate than the scripts that you might get from from Copilot or ChatGPT. So if we pull up that demo, here you see the settings page, so you can see the expiration dates of your tokens. You can create additional users in your account. If we then continue, we can add a user very easily. Let me fast forward just a little bit. Video is a little bit small. And those users are synced from the Jamf account. So again, your Jamf account is very important here. If you create a user in the Jamf account, it will populate in Elevate. Going back to the dashboard, you can see in the activity, the iPhone was enrolled. We scheduled a managed update via Blueprint, and we also created a blueprint with Okta Verify, right? And at the top, if we search for something, just a second, if we search for something, we can search smart groups, we can search OSs, we can search for apps, and those all show up. And if we then want to do something fun and ask something to the AI assistant, we can just put in our question and get a reply immediately. And it's trained on the help desk data from Jamf, so the whole FHQ page, so your questions are answered in a very decent way. Last but not least, as I said, you can use the app switcher to navigate between Jamf portals. So if you need some more advanced things, you can dive into Jamf Pro or Jamf Security Cloud, and it's all powered by the app switcher. So if you look here, we press the hamburger menu, we can jump into Jamf Pro, for example. And when we get there, you will notice that the same iPhones are enrolled, the same smart groups exist, the same configurations are made. We click devices, search inventory. Everything is there, but it's in the full Jamf Pro inventory, which gives us some more power to work with if we need it, right? So to recap, Elevate streamlines Apple management and security. It unifies the enrollment, compliance, and security into one central place. And it's simple and scalable, right? So if we revisit this slide, yes, it is simple to use. Yes, it has built-in guidance. And most importantly, yes, it is scalable once you outgrow your feature set in Elevate itself. I'm gonna take off my Jamf hat for a second and put in some other good to know items. There currently is no integration with Jamf Security Cloud and Elevate. This is something that has been requested and Jamf is working on, so that should be coming in the future. Jamf Protect's integration is limited to malware prevention details. That'll be expanded on in the future. Because they are using a different way of pushing the VPP apps, the VPP token is not visible in Jamf Pro. That's a minor thing. Currently, there's no instance URL customization. So where, for example, our Jamf tenant is lab9.jamfcloud.com, you cannot customize that for Elevate. That's also the reason why it's currently not available for current customers. If you would opt to disable Elevate, currently that cannot be undone. So then you're stuck with the regular portals. And as we said before, currently already existing tenants cannot turn on Elevate at the moment, which is something again that should change somewhere in the future. That was everything about Elevate. But Jamf announced something last week in London at Jamf Nation Live, which was AI governance. And it's not related to Elevate, but it's very relevant, right? AI governance is a big topic, especially in the EU. And it's releasing next week on the 30th of June. And it's included in Jamf for Mac, right? So if you have Elevate, you will have this tool available to you as well. We're going to have a dedicated webinar on AI governance later in the year when we had some more time to play with it. But I wanted to share some slides with you already. So AI governance is a new tool that allows you to do three things, right? It allows you to see what AI is in your fleet. It allows you to decide what that AI can do, and it allows you to have an audit record of those things. So seeing it, I don't know if anyone tried to view which AI tools are installed in on your fleet, but it's very difficult, right? They don't always install into regular places, and they do kind of odd stuff and with odd plugins. Um, but now in your Jamf account, you will have a very nice overview of your devices, which AI agents run on them, and it's not in the screenshot, but you can also see what processes are running and if they are running any dangerous commands. So you have a very good insight in what's happening there. The second part is picking a posture, right? You can choose to just view what's on it. You can also enforce a balanced block, so you can block destructive commands, for example, or you can be very strict and only allow list certain AI tools. So if we'll take a look at this screenshot, this is cloud code and everything that we can configure. So on the left side, you have quite some settings, and we can dive in on the right side. And the good thing is, this all lives in your Jamf account, so you can give access to the people that need to decide on the policy to your Jamf account. And you actually need to push it out via a blueprint. So the Jamf administrator then can push it out very easily through a blueprint. You just select the policy that's been created and you push it out. Since it's a blueprint, since this lives in that microservice, it will also be available in Elevate to push out, which is a very good thing. And then last but not least, you can keep a record of your policies, the settings that are in it, and if it's deployed to devices or not, right? So that's a quick overview here where you can see the policy that you made, the settings that you put in, and you can also see deployment details there. That was AI governance very, very quickly. Zeno, I don't know if there are questions about either topic.
Thank you very much, Jody, for the presentation, the explanation of Elevate, and of course also the new topic, the news item you added about AI governance. Very interesting one, and also with a small bridge through Elevate as well. At this moment, I don't have any questions received yet in the Q&A. I have maybe one question. You mentioned a bit in the webinar itself, but it's you start with Elevate as a new company. I have a new company. I have 10 devices, or for example, 100 devices. I will start with 100 devices. I start with Elevate, but afterwards, is it easy then to jump to Jamf Pro because it's an item of Jamf Pro? How does that work?
Yeah, so Elevate is really just a platform that runs on top of the existing Jamf platforms, right? So it's a platform on a platform. That's confusing. Um, if If you purchase Jamf for Mac or Jamf for mobile, you get access to Jamf Pro, Jamf Protect, and Jamf Security Cloud. Those are three separate portals doing separate things, and it's sometimes confusing for the admin to configure it. Elevate runs on top of that, and it ties in via API calls to all those platforms. Um, if you work in Elevate and you need to do something that's not available there, or you outgrew the capabilities entirely, you can click the app switcher and just go into each and every of those individual portals into your thing. You get the full capabilities, but you start in a simplified setup.
Setup. Okay, perfect. Clear for me. In the meanwhile, we received a question. It's from Davey. It's about the AI governments. How will this block the AIs? Is this on a process level or on a network level? Um,
Currently, it's not doing anything with the network. So it actually in the backend uses Jamf Protect's feature set to get the analytics first and foremost, and then block them. So it's on a process level, not on the web level.
okay, that's clear for me. Hopefully for David as well. So I'm out. He said, "Thank you. You're welcome,
You're
Davey."
welcome.
Okay, we're out of questions. Of course, if someone had any questions, they can contact us by our website or by email marketing@lab9pro.com. Within few, 15 minutes, you will receive the recording of this webinar share this with colleagues, with people. This solution Elevate is useful. Share this video. It will be available on our YouTube channel. It's in English, so everyone can understand what we explained this morning. I want to thank you, Jordi,
No
for the
worries.
presentation.
I actually got one question via text, and I don't know who sent it, but I'll just.
Okay, wonderful. It's a tech message.
It's perfect.
Perfect.
But for AI governance, I got the question, who is getting access to that? It's included in Jamf for Mac. So any existing Jamf for Mac customer should see it pop up next week on the 30th in their Jamf account. Give it a bit, right? If Jamf turns something on, it's a staggered release, so it could be that it takes a day, but it should be included. If you currently do not have Jamf for Mac and you have the a la carte SKUs, you will need to upgrade the license or wait till the renewal and then change it before we get access to AI governance.
Okay, wonderful. And I feel an upcoming webinar right now about AI governments. Actually, we
Yep.
discussed this already with Jav as well, to do a webinar. So actually, this was our last webinar before summer.
Yep.
But yeah, we're gonna take a look in our agendas. Maybe in summer we're gonna add some extra. And of course, I think one of the next webinars about Jamf will be AI governance. I
Most
think
likely. Yep.
most likely, because next week we have also our enterprise event, and we have there also a topic about AI governance. It's a small one, but it's an introduction about
Mhm.
AI governance, the mindset, the way of working about this topic. So just jump into our website. It's still possible to register for our event. It's in Zaventem, Brussels. It's completely in English. So if you want to jump in, no worries. It's free. Just go to our website, events, and then click through to our enterprise event. Get together. It's the 2nd of July. It's on Thursday. Okay, wonderful. I think we can break up this webinar for today. I want to thank everyone for joining this webinar this morning. Keep the head cool today. It's going to be very hot today. Tomorrow it will be less, luckily. So thank you very much. You will receive the recording within a few minutes by email. And if you have any questions, just reply on that email or send a text message maybe to
Yeah.
Shorty. But
But
of course,
include
if
your name.
yeah,
Include your name so I know who you are.
include the name. And if Shorty is on holiday, then it's gonna be difficult. But just send us an email. That's the quickest way and easiest way to send through to our technical department of or sales department. If you want to start with Elevate in your environment. Thank you very much, and see you next time.
See you. Bye.
Bye bye.